Hey, this is Hall of Famer Devon Dudley here, 24-time World Tag Team Champions, and I've done it all. But you're going to watch, and you will watch Count It Out with Mike and Taylor. You damn right. And if you don't do that, your ass is going through a table.
You are listening to Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
What? We are live, pals, and welcome to another edition of the Bill Apter Seal of Approved Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. My name is Tyler, and despite what some people may say, I am still joined by the one and only Mike, because you are the one and only Mike.
In your life, maybe not in other people's. Apparently,
However,
Matt Zuckerman says what Matt said, he knows 10 mics.
I'd like to know who these mics are, and I would like video call with all of them.
Yeah, I'm not impressed that Matt's been cheating on me with other mics.
I'm sure they're all better mics, though. That.
Come on now.
Well, I mean, just from knowing you, I'm just assuming.
Jesus. So we meet a guy named Walsh, and automatically he becomes good Walsh.
Yes.
Now every mic is called Better Mike. Now I know how Hank Hill felt when his dad named his little brother Good Hank.
Fair. Well, since I'm starting to show up by being an asshole, I'd like to be a demand. I'd like to be a bossy asshole.
Okay.
Mike?
I've been all over it. I've given you stuff.
Mike?
I have.
Get the tables.
Oh, I thought you were going to yell at me for my year-end stuff.
No, year-end show update. Mike has done, this is the best you've ever done for your year-end show. The bar was set very low. Now
I still haven't given you a whole lot either.
No, you gave me enough.
I mean, not everything anyways.
Well, I mean, we're still only in October, right?
Yeah.
So, no, we're not even in October yet. We're only in September still.
So we're going to talk about something tonight that is a late contender for me.
100%. So, but you've done good. You've sent me some stuff, but then you didn't reply to about 5 of my messages with follow-up questions. So,
well, listen,
no, life, I don't care.
I'm
more important.
Tendency, I swear to God, you have the tendency, you know when I'm available and when I'm not. You wait until I'm like at work to start bombarding me with texts. And then I have to choose which ones to respond to because I only have so much time that sometimes I just say, fuck it. I don't respond to any of them.
I got to tell you, I am hurt. I'm upset. I am hurt. No, I don't care. But yes, year-end show, you've done very well. Not as well, though, as I'm doing in fantasy football.
Hey, we both had a good week, bud. We both had a good week. I jumped up to 5th place in the ranks. Big jump for me. Big jump, because I think I came up from 11th.
I am currently sitting in, I believe, 2nd place.
I think 3rd, to be honest. But
3rd? Well, either way, I'm undefeated. Doesn't matter.
But you're doing well. You're doing very well.
I'm 2-0, sitting in 3rd place.
Well, talk about 2-0. Somebody else is going 2-0 right now, and I don't know how long that's going to last. And that's our beloved Bengals.
Yeah, we've had a misfortune of losing Joe Burrow. It's been a very mentally traumatizing week for me.
Yes.
Not great. Not great.
Not great at all. But you know
what?
We both had a feeling that we would win that game, that we would conquer the Jags. And I think somebody else had a feeling that we would kill the Jags. And that's Tony Khan, because he never responded to your challenge.
Yeah, what a coward, Tony Khan.
What a coward. He knew we would win that game, and that's why he said nothing to you.
I decided to have a little fun for those of you that don't follow us on X or Twitter or whatever social. I don't understand social media anymore. But I'll pull the curtain back. We did apply for AEW media, and we did not receive it, which not a surprise. We don't usually have much luck with AEW media any longer. So I decided to have some fun, and I bombarded Tony Khan with a bunch of tweets, friendly challenging him that if our beloved Cincinnati Bengals could beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, that he should grant us some media. And I'll take the moral win, but needless to say, there will be no all
Yeah.
out for counted out.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I was really impressed with your initiative there, and I kind of thought he would fight. I
You know
really
what?
did.
I
I
bet.
because he's very into that kind of stuff.
I
He's
bet you if
very
you saw it, I guarantee he didn't see it, right? That guy probably gets a million tweets by all these fucking
sure.
people out there, right? But
Yeah.
I think if he would have happened to have seen it, I think he would have been intrigued to play along.
Yeah. Because what does he lose?
Nothing.
He doesn't lose
Well,
anything.
he loses the credibility of his company by giving us media, I guess. So this week on the show, I'm going to be counting down the top 7 moments from the Dudley Boys' career. I figure, with the trend that the show has been going on, now in the past, we've done Edge's top 7 career moments.
Mhm.
Last week, we did Christian's top 7 career moments. And a few weeks ago, we did the top 7 matches of the Hardy Boys. So figure we show the Dudley Boys a little bit of love as we move closer and closer to this tables match at Bound
Love
for
it.
Glory.
Yep.
And yeah, it's going to be fun to go down a little bit of memory lane. But before that,
100%.
let's talk a little bit of wrestling. And you want to specifically talk about the NXT show. But
I
before we
really
do
do.
that, I just want to
Mhm.
give a quick shout out to the AEW tapings that happened last night in London,
Yeah.
Ontario.
Yeah.
I thought it was so amazing to see Vaughn Vertigo take the unprettier from Christian.
Mhm.
And just knowing Vaughn, I don't know him well, but I know him
No,
enough.
enough. Yeah.
Um, I know that he was a massive Hardy Boys fan growing up. You see all the clips he puts out of himself in the backyard wrestling days, dressed up as a Hardy Boy doing a swanton. That the wrestling fan in Von Vertigo was absolutely loving every second of taking that unprettier from Christian. It was really awesome to see.
Yeah, you sent me the video of that whole segment, and it happened so fast that I didn't really see what you wanted me to see right away. So I watched it again and I watched again, and all I saw was like whatever his hairdo. I'm like, I know that hair. So I texted right away. I'm like, is that Vaughn? You're like, yup.
Well, it was cool
And
because it was Vaughn, Johnny DeLuca, and Amir Jordan was in there as well. Amir Jordan took the spear from Cope, Mr. Edge.
um, I gotta say though, that mic shot Dax took.
Oh, I broke his nose for sure.
Oh my God, dude, that was stiff.
Yeah, his nose was crooked after.
Oh yeah, that was brutal.
Well, the FTR, formerly known as the Revival, formerly in NXT, a big part of NXT.
Big
NXT
part of
had
it.
a homecoming. Look at me segueing. That was a really good one.
Beautiful.
You want to talk a little NXT homecoming? Give me your mind frame here.
I do, my love.
No.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about Homecoming. I watched it in its entirety last night. I
Hmm.
came home from work because I saw a few clips online that intrigued me. So I'm like, I want to see exactly what happened. So I came home from work last night and I watched the entire thing, and I'm happy I did because from start to finish, it's one of my favorite shows I've watched this year.
Yeah, I heard
Uh,
Ethan Page and Tyler Breeze really had a great match.
they sure did, and I'm not one to speak very highly of Mr. Page. I don't give him his credit when it's due ever. So Tyler Breeze, friend of the show, Prince Pretty, had a great match on NXT. No, from start to finish, it was awesome. They did a great job of mixing nostalgia with really getting over the new crop of talent. It was great for a guy like me who doesn't keep up on the current state of NXT, but loves the black and gold. I think you and I can agree that the black and gold era of NXT is some of the best wrestling that WWE has ever produced.
Yeah, I think it's some of
Um,
the best wrestling ever, in
just
all
ever.
honesty. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's phenomenal.
And I want to put that up against a couple things in a second, but they did a great job of bringing back some stars. Not just bring back stars, but bringing back people that in the way that they were remembered in NXT. DIY came out to face the Street Profits.
I loved hearing Johnny
And
Gargano's old music.
right? Both Gargano and Ciampa come out to their old singles music. Ciampa wearing the face paint. Gargano really diving back into his Johnny wrestling gimmick with the theme music and just the getting really into the whole Rebel Heart thing. It was cool seeing the old DIY back for one night. Don't get me wrong, I love what DIY is doing on the main roster. I love it, but seeing the NXT version of them for one night was very cool.
Finn Balor.
You just took the words out of the mouth. Same thing can be said about Finn Balor. I've enjoyed his work with
Judgment Day.
With Judgment Day and all that. I've enjoyed it. But seeing NXT Finn Balor come out, getting that crowd pop, doing everything he did, seeing how much, because he looked right at the camera and said, "Oh, this feels good."
Yeah, the old music and the old entrance.
Goes to two sweets the crowd. It was the Finn Balor that I fell in love with. You know what I mean? So it was great to see all that. Shayna Baszler made a pop in the back. Shayna Baszler no longer with the company. Especially, if you follow anything Ronda Rousey says, Shayna Baszler's not with the company because Ronda Rousey won't shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Ronda in a few minutes. But so all in all, I'm not going to lie to you, man. It's not solidified yet, but it's in contention for my end of the year list. It was that good of a show for me. It really was.
What do you think about this Triple H and Shawn Michaels War Game thing?
Absolutely love it. And I've been waiting to talk to you on air about this because you said something to me a couple days ago on text that I full-heartedly disagree with.
Well,
I didn't disagree with you on text because I was keeping it for this show.
Let me ask you a question before we get into this. Is this like an actual match that's happening, or was this just a joke, like for Regal, like to come out and do his spot?
Oh, no way. They can't tease War Games and not have War Games.
Because normally they do War Games at Survivor Series.
Survivor Series. Maybe they have different plans for Survivor Series this year. So they're like, well, and Triple H is a massive mark for War Games. So maybe he lost an argument somewhere, and people are like, "Hey, man, we want to do this for Survivor Series." And Triple H is like, "Well, fuck, where am I going to do my War Games? Well, I'll go do them with Sean." It's very possible that something like that went down. They didn't say where it's happening. I'd be very surprised if it was happening at No Mercy. If they're smart, they'd keep it for. Do they still do takeovers every major pay-per-view?
I think so.
Like they should keep it for the Survivor Series takeover, right?
I'm not sold if this is an actual thing that's happening.
It's got it.
I mean, okay, so let's talk about the text I sent you because I asked you if it was a missed opportunity that they're doing. Is this the one you're talking about?
Yes.
So
yes.
I asked Mike if it was a missed opportunity to have Triple H versus Shawn Michaels in the War Games match instead of doing NXT versus TNA wrestling in a War Games match.
And I both agree with you and disagree with you on this. I agree with you that that's the match that should happen. I'm just not sure that it's a missed opportunity yet. We haven't let it play out yet. I said to you that there's still lots of time for one of these guys to recruit their team fully of TNA people. Now, you said to me that wouldn't make any sense. And I wholeheartedly disagree. And I'm going to tell you why I think this can make sense. Triple H can easily turn this around and just say, "Hey, I'm the big boss. I've been pulling all the strings. I've been doing this. Who do you think is behind signing, that contract with TNA? I'm the guy trying to get TNA, noticed over here, and you're not doing anything, Sean. You're not using my TNA guys. I'll use my TNA guys. I'll put TNA up against your best NXT guys."
I hate that. I absolutely hate that.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
There's nothing more I hate than that. It's one of the worst things. I hate it. I hate it so much. Why? What's the point? Like, it makes no sense.
This whole fucking signing TNA shit doesn't make sense anymore. So why does anything need to make sense? The whole TNA thing, to me, has blown up.
To me,
And,
what I think is going to happen is that they might tease this Sean and Hunter thing, but I still think this is going to lead to a TNA versus NXT match
well,
because
they're doing the thing on social media,
that's exactly right.
so,
So
so they're gonna build up to something.
the entire TNA roster has been going on social media and basically saying we're sick of the WWE. Why are you booking a title match without TNA's involvement for the TNA title? You can't just do this. So what I think is going to happen is that we are going to see a major run-in during the title for title match with Obi Famine and Trick Williams. I think the
Yeah,
TNA roster is going to come out and NXT, like at Nexus, the NXT arena, and I think it's going to lead to our first ever NXT and
they're,
TNA versus show.
they're not gonna rebellion them or retribution them, I should say.
No, we don't say the R word, Mike.
And I'm okay with that too. But it's just that's not what they've started to build.
I don't think we're going to see Triple H versus Shawn Michaels War
I,
Games.
I
Now,
I'm very because it was already teased. I already really love the idea of Shawn versus Triple H.
but also, if they did that though, like it would have to be old school NXT versus new school NXT because like that's what Triple H represents is the black and gold. That's what the whole thing was. It's black
True.
and gold.
Yeah.
That's why the TNA thing makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, I'll
Like
tell you another thing.
like Triple H would have like Gargano and Ciampa and whoever, Sami Zayn maybe, or
Yeah.
and to me, like those guys would just destroy the current NXT Raw. Like I just think it's a lose-lose. I don't see a win here for this match.
Um, I'll tell you something else that doesn't make any sense. When was the last time you actually saw the beginning credit roll for NXT, like the opening title sequence?
I couldn't say I've ever seen it.
Cool. Because I haven't seen it in a very long time until I watched the show last night. And when they do the opening sequence, not only do they, show clips of people, they do it old school where they show clips and the name appears. So it's like Oba Femi and Trick Williams, showing their names. And who pops up? But Joe Hendry.
Yeah, I want to talk
Why?
about Joe. I want to talk about Joe Hendry in a
Why?
minute.
He's not. If he's gonna be an NXT superstar, just make him a fucking NXT superstar. I'm done with this. It makes no sense.
Okay, I want to talk about that in a minute, but I got a question I want to ask you first while we're talking about old school NXT.
I have a couple things I want to talk about as well. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Who is on your NXT Mount Rushmore?
Oh, this is almost easy.
I've got
It's,
three,
I
and
have three
I
for sure,
struggle.
and
I
then
struggle
four.
with the fourth.
So my three, I think my three are Finn Balor,
Okay,
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins. What the hell did he do in NXT? He was the first champ, and that was it.
Yeah, again, that's a struggle. Finn for sure. Finn doesn't come off.
Mhm.
Kevin Owens,
Okay,
Sami Zayn.
our lists are drastically different.
Well, yeah, they're going to be. Look how many fucking stars came out of that. Are we including women?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Mount
Oh,
Rushmore.
four horsewomen. There you go.
They didn't do
Except
anything in
for
NXT.
except for Sasha.
Oh, those
Um,
though. I thought you were talking about Ronda's group.
no.
I think that you need to have Adam Cole on that list for sure.
All right.
I think Johnny Gargano is on that list for sure.
I think DIY is on that list as a
Yeah, I
team.
mean, okay, let's group them as a team because
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. I think Asuka needs to be spoken about, possibly on that list.
Asuka over Charlotte.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Asuka
Yeah.
had the most dominant women's run in NXT. She never
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah.
Like I don't think she ever
Yeah. No,
lost in
I
NXT.
don't think she did either.
The fourth one, oof, I mean,
It's hard, man.
you could
I could
talk
tell
Finn
way.
Balor. I think
Finn's up. Finn doesn't leave my list.
I think
I honestly believe that Finn is the greatest NXT superstar of all time.
I think Shinsuke Nakamura could be in the conversation.
Definitely a conversation.
I'll lock in Finn for my fourth, though. I think you're right. I think Finn Balor was a big part of that. So I'll go Asuka, Adam Cole, DIY, and Finn Balor.
Like that. That's not a bad list at all. Here's my question: take the entire like grouping of the black and gold, okay?
Hmm.
In a span of years, and I know this isn't exactly fair because I'm doing like almost a decade versus a year, but play with me. Who had the bigger impact on the business? I know the answer, but I want to hear you say it.
Okay.
The black and gold
Yeah.
or the 2001 class of OVW?
Oh, the 2001 class of OVW. But the black and gold has produced way more
More
talent,
stars? Yes.
not
I
bigger
think
stars,
more.
though.
I think more stars have come out. Bigger stars have come out of that OVW
I mean,
because we're talking about what? We're talking about John. We're talking about Randy. We're talking about Cena. We're talking about
Batista.
Batista. We're talking about Brock. We're talking about Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah,
So
I don't think there's anything, I don't think it's even close. Like I think if you just pick John, Randy, or Brock alone, and like
yeah,
if that class was like Rico, Brock Lesnar, and Jackie Gata, that class is still better because Brock Lesnar was in it. You know what I mean? Like just because
yeah,
they've
yeah,
made they're just on a different level than any of those guys.
yeah.
You know, you could
Uh,
say like you could make an argument for Seth Rollins coming out of NXT. I think Seth Rollins is the biggest star to ever come out of NXT, in my opinion.
yeah, I can't argue with that at all. No,
But
he's done
but
more. He's done more on the main roster than anybody who's coming in NXT. I think a close second might be Kevin Owens.
yeah, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn
Yeah,
as well.
Sami
Like,
Zayn. Yeah,
but those guys are nowhere near the star power of Randy, Brock, or Cena.
uh-huh.
So yeah, I'd say OVW, that class is the greatest wrestling class of all time.
So staying on NXT here, what do you think NXT needs to do to get back to that golden that black and gold status?
I I
What
don't
can they
think.
do to make people care the way they did back then?
I don't think it's possible. I think they just need to focus on what they're doing now because it's
Yeah,
working.
because I
Like,
think it's not like it's unsuccessful right now, but I just don't think people are as invested in it as they were in that era
well, and
during the Dusty Triple H era.
but you gotta look at a lot of different factors of why that is too. When NXT first started, unless you were a Ring of Honor fan, this
Yeah,
blew your mind.
yeah,
This
it
is
was different.
what I'd been watching for 8 years by that point because I was a massive Ring of Honor fan by then.
But it
But
was
to the
still cool to
W,
see it on WWE TV. Yeah,
it was cool to see it for us, like, you know, more hardcore fans. It was super
yeah.
cool to see these guys on WWE TV. But for the people that only live in the WWE bubble, this probably
Mm-hmm.
blew their minds.
On
Like,
every from the talents to the styles of matches, right down to the production, because even the production was different.
mhm.
Still is, you know.
What do you think
And there's something very special, I think, about Full Sail.
what do you think the legacy of NXT is going to be? Because I have something that I don't think people give NXT enough credit for. And I think to me that's what their legacy is with me.
I think NXT will go down as just being proving that the developmental territory doesn't need to be a developmental territory.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, they re they really evolutionized the idea of a developmental territory. They took what OVW and FCW was and created something to be proud of. Not to say that the guys in OVW didn't have to be proud of what they were doing, but they were there fully knowing I'm here just to get there.
Hmm.
NXT became such an entity of its own that we had guys like Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa at one point said they didn't want to go.
Yeah.
They didn't even want to go to the main roster because they loved NXT so much. There are people who spend their entire careers in NXT. There are people now who are, even though they're on the main roster, are going to be forever known for their time in NXT.
Yeah.
you can't say that about the other developmentals. So they took what is essentially a developmental program and made it into this. We're at a point where their developmental program is what they put up against things. It was going up against AEW Dynamite for a while. It's now going, it's now on the same level as TNA. It is just a phenomenon after,
I think
I'm going to
NXT
guess,
is way bigger than
almost 10
TNA.
years.
NXT is way
Yeah, no,
bigger than TNA.
at this point, yes. Do you think NXT at its highest though was is bigger than TNA at its highest?
I think it's not even close. TNA has only ever done one crowd that's over
Mhm.
$6,000, 6,000 people. That's peanuts for NXT.
Yeah.
But they
So
had,
I mean NXT is able to do shows at in arenas. They can come here and sell out the Scotiabank place
as they've
where
had.
where they have we've been there.
Yeah,
Where do you think TNA could do that?
absolutely not.
Not even during the Dixie days.
No, not at their biggest height. They weren't selling out arenas like that.
Yeah.
For me, I think that the legacy that I look at NXT for, and I wish that more people would realize this, is I think NXT is the platform that finally gave women's wrestling the respect it deserves.
Well, funny you say that. They did discuss that on last night's show. Charlotte Flair came out before her match,
Mhm.
and I apologize to the opponents that her and Alexa were facing. I can't remember the names, but she basically said, she goes, all of you need to remember that during those days, the women's wrestling division was the backbone of NXT.
Yep.
And the commentators jumped right on it and said, you're absolutely right, it was. And nobody can argue that. Nobody can argue that the women's, I've grown to hate this term because I almost find it derogatory at this point. But this women's evolution, as it's called, really started in NXT.
It did, yeah, 100% it did.
That's where it began. This spark in NXT became a full out flame. It started with people like your Pages and just kind of flew from there.
Paige and Emma, really, they were
Yeah.
the first two. They tore the house down in the women's title final, and then
Nope.
the really big turning point match was Natty and Charlotte. They had a banger, and then
And
of
I think,
course Bailey and Sasha. I think
but
that
I think what the thing was is Dusty, and then of course preceded by Triple H. They had this idea in NXT of just let's let these people do what they do well, not just women, but the men as well. Everybody, let's just take these guys. Let's see what they did in ROH, and let them do what they did in ROH, which is not what Vince is letting people do on the main roster. Let's
oh
do
yeah,
that different
they
NXT.
were still tweaked a little bit. Don't get it wrong, but
No, a little bit,
we
but
still
not
got a
like
WWE up a little bit.
sure, but not the way it was on the main roster, right?
Yeah, it's different.
We still got that indie feel in NXT.
Well, and I think that's
So
another.
I think what Dusty did was not if I'm going to let the men do that, I'm going to let the women do that and let them shine too. And I don't think anybody expected them to shine as hard as they did. And then when Dusty saw how hard they shone, why wouldn't you go with that? Why wouldn't you
Well,
push that? Why wouldn't you develop that and own it?
I think that's
Of
another
course.
reason. Well, to go back to your question about what does this crop of NXT have to do, they need to find their own specialness because now we're seeing this the black and gold crop is doing what they were doing on NXT on Monday Night Raw every week, on
Yeah.
SmackDown, on the PLE. It's like this is what the WWE has evolved into now. So this group of NXT, they just got to find their own thing, right? And they've got some great stars that have come up
Well,
and
that was that was my next question. When you look at, and I know you're not familiar with a lot of them, and I'm not saying I am. I'm only familiar with a handful. But when you look at the current crop of NXT superstars, do you see anybody that screams out at you going, "I'm a fucking star and I'm going to be a star"?
I don't watch enough of it. Just from the
I,
hype I've heard and the clips I've seen, Obi Fayman seems like
Obafemi is going to be a big star. I think Trick Williams
Trick
is going to be
Trick
massive.
Williams. Yeah, I mean, from a WWE standpoint, take the bias away, but Ethan Page has really excelled since joining the NXT brand.
Yeah,
He's exactly what they look for. I
Can
think
it,
there's still a lot of potential for Jordan Grace to break through.
of course, I'll never argue
And
that fact.
what's her name now? Mariah May, Blake Monroe.
Marami, yeah.
I think Blake Monroe has a lot of potential to break through as well.
Mhm. Um, I'll mention one name that I hate to say I'm disappointed, but is disappointed really the word, or it was just more I expected more, and that's Lexus King.
Yeah,
When I see Lexus King, I don't know. Maybe it was just my want for Brian Pillman to be a massive star, and just it's just not in the stars. It's just not who he is.
he's got a good place carved out there though. It's not like he's
It's
like
just not where I thought he'd be. That I
yeah,
honestly I think I tricked myself into believing that
like
when
they
when Brian leaves AEW, he's gonna go somewhere where he's honed and where he's gonna be allowed to be a star. And maybe he's just not a star.
not everybody can be,
Exactly.
right? But I think
It's just too
he's
bad because I'm a big fan of Brian's. I always have been, and maybe it's just because having him on the show, he's always been one of my favorite people that we've ever talked to. He's just such a nice guy,
yeah, he
and I
was.
just I want everything for him.
Talk to me about Joe Hendry.
Well,
You said you're
don't say his
upset.
name. Don't say his name because if he appears, I'm leaving.
He's not
I'm.
appearing.
I know.
Trust me, he's
we
not
can't
appearing here, brother.
we can't afford him. Um, I don't know, man. I'm just confused. I hate saying this because a year ago I wouldn't shut up about Joe Henry. I wanted Joe Henry everywhere. I wanted Joe Henry on my TV 24/7. Now I don't want him on my TV because it never makes sense to have him on my TV. What is he doing? What are they doing with him? I don't understand. Is he with NXT? Is he with TNA? Is he like who does he? I don't get it.
I talked
I wish
about
I understood.
I talked about this about 3 weeks ago on the show.
Well,
I said the exact same thing that you're saying right now.
I just wish I understood. That's all.
If
Uh,
I, from a kayfabe point and a working point, I think that the TNA roster needs to start being mad at Joe Hendry
yeah,
because, and here's my reasoning. You lost, you're so busy focusing on WWE and NXT that you lost our title
yeah.
to an NXT star. You have done nothing to try to get it back. And all you do now is show up on NXT every week and help NXT. I would have a big
And I
problem with that if I was
and I
TNA.
kind of thought that that's what they were going to do because Nick Nemeth made a couple comments about him in interviews, and then that ended up being nothing.
You know, that was Jonah's interview, eh?
Well, he's done it at other places too, but yeah, with Jonah as well.
But
Um, but and now what? Their title belongs to an NXT guy, and just like you said, no one seems to want to go and get it back.
well, no, Joe doesn't seem to want to get it back because the NXT roster, Mike Santana's trying, Moose has
Yeah,
tried, a bunch of people are trying to get it back, but Joe
yeah,
has not been one of them.
just weird.
I don't understand it. Yeah, I mean, I have fun being in your fridges, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
I just to me, the fall of Joe Hendry since WrestleMania.
Well, that's it. He was poised to have such a great year. He was put in the Royal Rumble and then given an amazing spot at at WrestleMania.
Kind
And
of.
now, and well, no, well, and it could have been an amazing spot if they would have followed up on it. Now everybody's basically what they're doing is proving me wrong because I flat out said the day after WrestleMania, this doesn't hurt Joe. It doesn't matter that he lost to Randy Orton. It doesn't like he's it's Randy Orton. Anybody can lose to Randy Orton. It's fine. This doesn't bury Joe. But maybe I'm wrong because what has Joe done since losing to Randy Orton?
I don't think it's just the specific Randy Orton moment. I think it's a lot. Like anytime that I've seen Joe Hendry presented in the WWE against a guy, not an NXT, whatever, like, but against like Roman Reigns ate him up at the Royal Rumble. Randy
Yeah,
Orton ate him up at WrestleMania. Anytime he
yeah,
challenged for an NXT championship, he lost. Like to
yeah,
me, and I said this before, to me, that constant booking of showing that Joe Hendry cannot hang with the top dogs in the WWE, I think it really hurt his overall presence. Also, though, let's call a spade a spade. Joe Hendry he's a marketing genius. He has gotten himself over incredible, but it's the novelty wears off. You know,
I think that's
the theme song is fun, and let's sing around with Joe and do the spin around
yeah.
and say his
And listen,
name. But what's next now?
well, that's it. And I was there, man. I loved doing that when we were at Sacrifice. You
Hmm.
know, seeing him come out and get into it. But that was 2 years ago. It's kind of a what have you done for me lately scenario. You know, if I was at a TNA show tomorrow, I don't think I'm into that as much as I was
Yeah.
because it's not. We've done it. Give me something else. It's all about an evolution. It's all about moving forward. You can't stay in the same spot for 2 years. Tell me, where has he grown? Where has he grown in 2 years? No, nothing. And it all started with them dropping the ball with the original title shots. And I think
Yeah,
that's
and
really bad.
I think having them wait so long to put the title on him
Yeah.
hurt as well. And I hope they don't repeat
Yes.
this mistake with Mike Santana. It seems like he's pretty hot right now. Let's see. But also
Again,
is
they should have been pushing Mike to the moon the minute Josh left.
but also though, is this the right time to take the title off Trick Williams?
Well, now that they've pulled the trigger on what they're doing with that, now what they have to do is make it worth it. They can't like if they just pulled the title off Trick too early, then it's
Well,
why did you do that?
we've got
You know,
Mike Santana versus Trick Williams at Bound for Glory.
which yeah, I think that's an okay spot for Trick to lose it.
You think
I
so?
think that's fine. I think so. I think that's okay, and it gives Mike the hero spot.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know, he'll be the he'll be the big hero of and let's say you're correct in your theory from before. This can have Mike Santana lead the charge against NXT for War Games
yeah,
with his one title in hand.
yeah, fair enough. This
You know, say I took it back and I'm coming after you. I'm not done.
the card's shaping up pretty good too. We're gonna have Steve Macklin versus Frankie Kazarian. Um, you're gonna have the Hardys versus the Dudleys. It's gonna be a tag team tables match, which we're gonna talk about in a little bit. I'm excited for Bound for Glory this year.
As you should be. Bound for Glory. It's always one of their best pay per views. I mean, it's one of the
What's the WrestleMania?
it is. Is it their WrestleMania or Slammiversary their WrestleMania?
I think
Is it this
Bound
one?
for Glory has always been presented as their biggest show of the year because they usually do the Hall of
Yeah. Okay.
Fame and which I haven't heard any
Yeah.
mention of Hall of Fame yet. So
I haven't heard it. I haven't heard any either.
I'm hoping that
I,
that's something they're still
I'm
doing.
guessing I'm guessing it's not Scott Demore.
No, it's probably not going to be Scott Demore. I want to say one last thing about NXT, and then we can move on to the list if you'd like to, unless you have anything else you want to talk about. Um, I haven't finished watching the video yet because I was at work and I forgot to watch it last night after work. But did you see the new DIY Glorious video that they put out?
Yes.
So I haven't seen how it ended. I just saw they put it up and Steve Carino was there.
Yeah.
Was that
Loved it.
it?
That's all that I saw.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I laughed so hard when
Yeah.
I saw that. I love
I
those
loved
videos.
it.
That was a great throwback that they did.
I will say it's a little sad. Bobby Roode did show up on NXT and got zero.
Yeah, well, it was
Like,
backstage segment though, right?
yeah, but right after like he shows up, then Joe shows up and he gets a pop.
Hmm.
So you can hear the pop from the crowd when Joe was there. 2 seconds earlier, nothing for Rude. And you can see on Rude's face, he was waiting for the pop, and it didn't happen. You can see he was like, what the fuck?
Bobby had a great run in NXT as well. He's another guy.
Well,
He
well,
might not be
that was a
full
great
Mount
spot for him.
Rushmore.
That was a great spot for him because not only did he have a great run in NXT, but he also had a great run in TNA. So for him to talk to the TNA guys, he's like, "Hey, I was TNA champion too, you know. And so he had that whole speech last night about being a former TNA champion.
See, that would be a
So that
great
was a great spot for him to be in there.
that's a great spot for him to be heel and align with TNA.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
You want to get some
I have
tables?
one small thing
You
I want
got
to talk
one
about. I
thing?
won't go too
Yeah,
crazy. I got one thing. I don't want to go too crazy on it because I can't be on this record all day. But something's on my mind. You said something a couple weeks ago, and I want to kind of retort it based on information that's come out very recently.
Okay.
Remember a few weeks ago, you and I talked about the people most important to the women's, you know, to women's wrestling.
Yeah.
There's a name that you mentioned that I want to redact. I want to say that I no longer agree with whatsoever.
Okay.
And that name is Ronda. That name is Ronda.
You got some beef with Ronda?
I will no longer talk about her when we talk about the greatest woman in professional wrestling, because as far as I'm concerned, that woman is not a professional wrestler, never has been.
Well, first of all,
Some of the comments
wait. Hold on. Just don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say she was one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. I said she was one of the most important. There's a big difference. Influential and important is different than greatest.
Here's my beef right now. The comments she's been making in the media proves that she doesn't understand professional wrestling, and she never has. She didn't, and that's why she didn't hack it. That's why she didn't make it, because she didn't get the business, and she still doesn't get the business. She comes out and says, she flat out said in interviews that she should have never ever lost. The fact that they ever booked her to ever lose was stupid, because it's not believable for her to lose to anybody. It's professional wrestling, Ronda. She's been hanging up with Roddy Piper way too much. You lose. People lose professional wrestling. And then she says, she has the balls to say, I can't believe they ever had me in programs against somebody like Alexa Bliss. What was I facing Alexa Bliss for? Do you know why they had me against Alexa Bliss? Because she was selling the most merchandise. What kind of business plan is that? If she expected to come in to the UFC model, then somebody did a bad job of smartening her up of what kind of business she was getting into. She should have done her research. She should have looked into what she was signing up for, because here we are. She's been out of this company for what, 3-4 years now? And she's still complaining about the way she was treated. Yeah. Guess what, Ronda? How you were treated was like one of the biggest stars in the world without actually deserving. So go fuck yourself. I will no longer talk about Ronda Rousey when we discuss women at all.
This is awkward because next week's show is the top 7 Ronda Rousey moments of all time.
Good luck. Good luck, fucking. Hey, if we're doing a UFC list, fine. If we're doing a WWE list, good luck finding 7 moments.
I don't know. I don't agree with a lot of what she says, especially the Alexa Bliss stuff. I didn't, hate some of the stuff she says when she calls out guys like Vince and Bruce Pritchard and the Boys Club. I didn't have a problem with any of that.
I didn't have a problem with that stuff.
The Alexa Bliss stuff I thought was silly. It's a work,
but the rest
obviously.
Of the rest of the stuff is very just self-promoting and like she's the hottest shit. Another thing she said that made me, the other thing she said that made me laugh was that I will never go back to WWE because they fired my friend Shayna. And then Shayna shows up on NXT this week.
Well, Shayna's still been working with NXT. Like, she's not, she's still been doing stuff with them.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
But
I thought she was just a big fan. Yeah.
No, she just said, I don't want to go back because they fired all my friends or got rid of all my friends. Like, Ronda doesn't need to do this. To me, Ronda doing this, it's no different than any other ex-pro wrestler that has sour grapes. She's a female Bret Hart. Like, it is what it is. She is. Bret's pissy about everything. Goldberg, like all these people.
But at least Bret had a fucking career to talk about.
Man, you can't. Despite what Ronda says, you can't take away what she did.
But her career lasted 5.5 seconds.
Yeah, but she did more in that 5.5 seconds than some people did in a 20-year career. Like this, I think she sounds.
It's all based on her success in UFC. Like, let's be honest, right?
Yeah, But I mean, okay, let's look at a guy like Logan Paul then. Logan Paul's where he is based on his success outside of wrestling. However, Ronda has
No,
done
I
way
no,
more than
I
Logan
don't
Paul.
I don't see, and I don't agree with that. Logan got his foot in the door because of what he did. Logan is still here because of the work he put.
Yeah, but what's the difference to your point
She
though?
didn't put in the work.
How
She
did she
didn't put in the
not?
work.
How?
She wasn't good, Tyler.
She wasn't the
She wasn't
greatest.
good. She wasn't good.
She wasn't the greatest women's wrestler of all time, but you don't need to be a great wrestler to make an impact though. There's more to it, right? Ronda changed the game. Without Ronda Rousey, you do not get the first ever women's main event in WrestleMania. You don't. And I'm sorry, but you don't.
I think
Becky,
Ronda forever is going to be my the way that when I bring up a name like LA Knight to you and you just fall
ugh.
asleep, I think this is I think this is my Ronda.
And that's fair. I understand. Listen, I'm not agreeing with what Ronda's saying. I think she does sound stupid. I do. But I mean, she's not the first person to leave the company and say stupid shit and have sour
No,
grapes.
absolutely,
So
she's not.
like,
No, she's not.
to me,
It's
it's
just
just an
you
I'm
know, I
indifferent.
don't like 90% of the stuff Brett says either.
Yeah.
Like,
It's I'm indifferent to it, but it is what it is, right? So
all right,
I will
go get
postpone
yourself.
I will postpone my Rousey list for the time being then, and we'll just focus on the Dudley Boys for now.
Unless we want to put Ronda Rousey through a table, she wouldn't be the first woman to go through a table.
No, we'll be talking about that for sure on this list because the Dudley Boys, let me tell you, they are definitely in contention for being one of the greatest tag teams of all time, right? That's easy to
I mean
say.
that I don't even think that's an argument.
I
Like because we've talked about certain teams how you can be one of the greatest in WWE history, but then it takes something different to be one of the greatest of all time. You know what I mean? Um, the Legion of Doom are always going to go down as being one of the greatest of all time because of their success all over the rest of the world.
Mhm.
The Hardys, I think, could be said the same. And Christian, even though you don't agree with me, I think are one of the greatest in WWE history.
Yeah.
Where I won't say that for the world because they can't say that about everything else. Several other teams can be said the same way. You can't say that Usos one of the greatest of all of in the scope because they only had success in one place. The Dudleys, just like the Hardys, just like the Road Warriors, have had success everywhere they've gone. And they've gone. They work for 3 of the major companies and has had success in both a tag team standpoint and both have had, especially Baba, has had tremendous success doing other things as well, both in and out of the ring. They're, I want to say, one of the most influential tag teams of all time for sure as well.
Oh yeah, easily.
Their style was just so different from all the other tag teams, whatever all the other. Cool thing about the Dudleys, especially during the Attitude Era, is they could hang with anybody. They could have a high flying crazy match with the Hardys or EMC, or they could just go and have a bang of brawl with the Acolytes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's what I loved about the Dudleys. They could do anything. They were so versatile and so good. And you look at a guy like Bubba and say, how good can that guy be?
Yeah.
Fuck,
Phenomenal.
I love Bubba Dudley. Say what you want him as a human being. He's a polarizing figure in the world, but as a performer, God damn it, I love Bubba. He's one. I would put him up on one of my. I don't know if I put him on. I did on my list as one of the greatest heels of all time.
Yeah, you did.
When I did my heels list, I paused about Bubba list because Bubba is one of the greatest heels of all time.
All right, well, let's jump into the number 7 here. And number 7, I try to stay away from matches on this list, but I did include a couple because I think that they were important to the legacy and the career of the Dudley Boys. And my number
Okay.
7 is the original tag team tables match at the Royal Rumble in 2000.
Okay.
I think that this match is their best tag team match in the WWE. Not like a TLC triple threat match.
And that's saying something, yeah.
I think when you
just straight out
Like
two
tag
on
team, yeah, like without multi-man tag team stuff like that.
Okay.
I think from just a tag team wrestling standpoint, I think
Yeah,
that this
that's fair.
match is really really good. Um, yeah, I mean, and now they're gonna relive it all these years later. I think it is really really cool, and I'm really
Yes.
excited for it. But I love this match. I thought it was amazing.
We talked about this match a couple of weeks ago during my Hardy Boys list. 100%. This match should be on both lists, both the Hardy Boys list and this list.
Absolutely.
A phenomenal list. I think it put both teams on the map
Oh, for
as far
sure.
as W. Like, I guess
This
W's already
match,
have the name.
I think this is the match that made people take notice of the Dudley Boys a little bit more because the Hardys already had
Yeah,
that moment with Edge and Christian in the ladder match. And I think this was
yeah.
the match where they were like, whoa, we got something else special brewing here.
And it was almost like Dudleys were just like, oh, they're that team that was in ECW that we didn't watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now they're like, okay, what are they going to do? And then this is where the Dudleys became the Dudleys. This is where oh, we're sleeping on these guys, and nobody slept on the Dudleys after this. No.
Mm. My number 6 moment, this one will put a smile on our good friend Adam Conton's face. I've got them putting Dixie Carter through a table.
Yeah, I love
I,
that.
I think this is one of those moments in TNA history that doesn't get talked about enough because
I think it's a great moment.
it was a great moment. It was a big moment. The Dixie Carter heel character wasn't my favorite character in the
No,
world,
no.
but this was a big moment having the Dudleys put her through a table. It was a big, they had teased it for weeks and weeks and weeks. We're going to put Dixie through a table. And I believe it was at the Hammerstein Ballroom or the Elks Lodge, one of the two in New York, where they finally did it.
Yeah.
And it got a huge reaction. It was a big moment. And I think it's a cool moment in their little legacy.
Dixie wasn't physical. Like Dixie didn't do things. She wasn't a wrestler. She wasn't
No.
trained. She didn't. She never got involved in things. So whenever you see somebody like Dixie Carter agree to do something like this, it's a big deal. And you'll see a lot of people put trust in the Dudleys. This is why the Dudleys will go down as one of the greatest teams as well, because of the trust factor people had in them. They were trusted by so many people to do things that most people probably shouldn't do.
Yeah.
There's a few, I'm not going to mention a couple things because it'll probably be on your list, but there's a few people that maybe shouldn't do these spots. And if it was anybody else, but when it's Bubba Dudley taking care of you, you're in good hands. And I think that's one of the reasons why they are known as not just us as fans, but I think in the locker room as one of the greatest teams.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to keep rolling with the number 5 here, and it's going to be the main event of WWECW One Night Stand. The Dudley Boys
Oh, okay.
against Tommy Dreamer
Yeah.
and the Sandman.
Such a
Kind of a full circle moment because, and this is another moment that I had as an honorable mention, but the Dudley Boys were the opening match ever in the first ever ECW
yes.
pay-per-view. Dudley Boys against
Yeah.
Eliminators at Barely Legal. And I thought that was a big, big honor. Um, However, full circle moment, the return of ECW and the Dudley Boys are main eventing against Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman. It was exactly the main event that show needed. It's regarded as one of the best WWE pay-per-views of all time, this event.
It's funny. It's funny you
And we
say that
got
because I was
the
about to say,
flaming table in the WWE for the second time, I believe. I believe WrestleMania 22 was right before this, so that was the first time
yeah,
we got the flaming table. But what a finish to the night. And I just thought this match, and I believe this was also their last appearance in the WWE before they left for TNA.
I believe you're right. I was gonna say before you said what you said, I was gonna say that if we ever, this is a hard list to do. This probably would be the hardest list to ever do. But if we ever did a top 7 greatest pay-per-views of all time, WWE pay-per-views, this is on my list.
This is on my list as well. The
This
first
is
one.
not even. This is not even the first one. Yeah, this is not even a question to me. The other 6, it's be a very, very, very difficult list.
I think I've got maybe
or
two. Yeah, I've
This is
got.
not even a question. This is one of the best produced WWE pay-per-views of all time.
Mhm.
I remember watching it. I bought it on pay-per-view, and I still had, even though they were out of date, I still had a VCR at the time. So I taped it off
Mhm.
of pay-per-view and rewatched it 30 times before it came out on DVD, and I finally was able to buy it. I probably have watched that pay-per-view more times than the majority of them.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a flawless show. Flawless. Love everything about
Well, the my number four is something that not a lot of people loved about the Dudley Boys. If you were in the crowd in ECW.
it. All
And
right, let's
and
talk.
and I'm just wide scoping it to their promos in ECW.
Sure. Just
Uh,
their heel work, just their like, yeah,
specifically, if you want to hone in on one, the famous Heat Wave promo that
yeah.
does not hold up from a politically standpoint.
No, but it's still like
This is
I don't, I
craziness.
don't think, don't think they get away with it today, but it's still, fuck was that heat? God damn, the bottom
This
down how many days?
I'm not going to say the things that were said in this promo because I enjoy doing our podcast and do not want to be cancel cultured. However, I will say that this promo at Heatwave ends with Bubba Ray Dudley in the front row of the barricade having a spitting match with a woman in the crowd. They're just
Yeah,
spitting
yeah.
on each other. And then after that, then Joel Gertner cuts his promo. That was just raunchy. I mean, the Dudleys promos, they were known for inciting riots. They did it many times at ECW. They've gotten many altercations with fans in ECW, and this is where they found who they were, was on the microphone in ECW.
Because before this, what were the Dudleys? They were just background characters in this weird stable called, the Dudley family. And like they were never supposed to be the standouts. They were supposed to be the stars of the Dudley family. Because who were your standouts at the time?
In
Big Jim,
ECW, as for the Dudleys,
for the Dudleys, like when the Dudley stable formation began,
they were always kind of the best two, but they were never like
they were
main
the best
event.
too,
They were
but
never
they
main
weren't. But
event
they weren't
talent.
supposed to be. They weren't supposed to be the front runners of that stable. And then they just shone. They just all of a sudden it's like fuck everybody else. We don't care about anybody else in the stable. Look at these two, and then they became what they became.
Mhm.
And man, did they become something special? Before you know it, we're only focusing on these two members. Then bring in other people like Joel Dirt and stuff like that, and to be involved and stuff like that. Some of their great opponents that they would have over the years.
I just think it's
They,
really
I think they are in conversation along with probably Rob Van Dam, Sabu. They're in conversation with these guys, Taz maybe, and of course Paul Heyman, of being the guys that are the most responsible for the success of these stuff.
Yeah, I think the fact that they went from being a mid-card comedy act to the most vile and disgusting hated heels in the company says a lot about their promo work.
Yeah,
Bubba was stuttering Bubba with the dance, like that was his gimmick, which I
and then
love stuttering
and then
Bubba.
but then he comes back to WWE, and then he's like, okay, so we're gonna go back to stuttering.
It didn't last for long
And
in
then
WWE, but it was
it didn't
great.
last long. It didn't last long. But then you're like, okay, well, what happened to that foul mouth piece of shit heel? Like, is that going to work in WWE? And he made it work because he couldn't be that Bubba, but he found a place for that Bubba in WWE to work with the WWE system.
I
In
always
time, of course.
I always
That wouldn't
laugh. I always laugh at the story Bubba tells about like when they signed their WWE contracts and they were meeting with Vince. Bubba was like, "Listen, Vince, like we're old school heels. Like we don't sign autographs, we don't take pictures with fans. We're not going to do any of that stuff." And he said Vince just stood up and laughed at him, put his hand on his shoulder. He's like, "You're in the WWE now. You're going to do all of that stuff."
Yeah, you can do what I
Bubba
said.
was just
Yeah.
like, "Oh, yes, sir. Okay."
It's funny. I just read an interview that Matt Hardy did. He was talking about the match at SummerSlam.
With Edge, yeah, I read that as
Yeah,
well.
and he says Vince brought us into our office and said, "Hey, you see that ring? Whose ring is that? See that building? Whose building is that? See that logo? Whose company is this? You're gonna go out there and do things my way, or we can never work in this business again."
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
If
Yes,
if
Vince.
if
And
one
that's
of
the
you
way it was.
if one of you guys takes a liberty with the other one, you will never work in
Yeah.
wrestling again.
And that's what they did with the Dudleys as well. It's like, okay, you come in here telling me what you are and what are or not going to do. Now I'm telling you, I'm Vince McMahon, and you're going to say what you're going to do. What I tell you to do. And who says no? You know what I mean? That you can't.
So my number three, it's kind of all over the place. So I'm going to try to bring it in, but I've got their tag title legacy. The tag titles, the legacy that they've won all over the
Okay.
world. Specifically, though, I'll hone in on the first time ever that they won the WWF tag team titles against the New Age Outlaws, because I think that really solidified them in the WWE as we're made men. Because this was a month after the tables match, and this was a month before
Yeah.
TLC. But I just want to go over some numbers here. 8 times they were the ECW tag team champions. They are two-time
Eight
I
times.
8 times. 2 times they are the IWGP tag team champions.
Okay.
They are, where is it here? They are one-time NWA World Tag Team Champions, two-time TNA
With what company?
with TNA. They were NWA and
Where did they win the NWA? They were in TNA when TNA still had the
they
NWA
were
titles.
they were the last NWA champions as it went into TNA wrestling.
Really?
So they are
I
two.
thought they came in late. Okay.
So one-time NWA champion, two-time TNA tag team champions,
Two time. That's it.
Hall of Famers in both WWE and TNA.
And TNA. Yeah.
They are 8 times WWF/WWE tag team champions. They are a WCW tag team champion as well. With the
Yes.
WWE. I count it, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. So
Just,
that
just like the Rock was WCW.
Yeah, exactly. However, for that's a pretty impressive legacy. Now, if you're not going to give me a pass on their tag title legacy and people don't like that for my number three,
Hey! The only reason I'm not going to give. I will pass. The only reason I'm even smirking at you is because you called me out for the cop out of Christian's AEW run last week,
fair.
as well as the cop out of what was it when I just gave his entire tag team.
Well, I mean,
So I think it's the same thing.
I think that their accomplishments of winning tag team titles all over the world is what adds to their
I agree
legacy.
with you. I just laughed because of what you said last week.
But I will say though specifically the first time that they won the WWF tag team titles is the one that I'll highlight there. But I think a reason why people look at the Dudley Boys as one of the greatest tag teams of all time is because of the fact that they've been so successful all over the world. They are the closest things to what the Road Warriors did back in
Yeah,
the day. And you know what though? The same thing can be said for the Hardy Boys as well. Like if I
I
was
was just about to say that because
the Hardy
they were
Boys actually might have it.
yeah.
The
They
Hardy
also
Boys
won
might have them beat.
I think. Yeah. Oh,
The,
probably.
the only thing the Hardys haven't
Well,
done, you swap the AAA tag titles with New Japan with the Hardys and the Dudleys, but the Hardys got Ring
have,
of Honor.
have the Hardys never won Japan titles?
No, they've never won the New Japan tag
Oh,
titles.
that's surprising.
My number two, I just wrote down Mae Young. I think that this is
So,
probably what the Dudley Boys are going to be both like one of the things that they are most remembered for is power
of
bombing Mae
course
Young.
it is.
This is
You can't
crazy.
put a 85-year-old woman through a table and not be remembered for it.
And they
And
did it
what I love
twice.
about not just the table, everything they did with May was amazing because they wanted it. There's these stories backstage where she would basically go and call Bubba a pussy
Yeah.
You better give it to me, boy. You better
She
not. Don't take it easy on
she
me.
said you better put me through that table or I'm gonna fuck you up backstage.
She didn't want to be treated, and he did. She didn't want to be treated like an 85-year-old woman. If I'm here, I'm one of the boys.
Yeah.
And Bubba had enough respect for her to do two things. So number one, treat her the way she wanted to be treated. Didn't give her any special treatment. But number two, he took care of her. But he would take care of any of the boys too, right? So it doesn't make any difference. You look at these spots, him putting her through a table. Does it look devastating? Of course it does, because he's putting an 85-year-old woman through a table. But you watch it with knowledge and intelligence, and you see he's got her. There's no way she can hurt at all. So the amount of respect I think he had for Mae Young is very evident in these spots. And if you were to ask Bubba what the most fun he ever had in WWE was, I guarantee he's talking about this.
Oh, 100%.
It's not to be fun
100%.
for him.
100%. But
And it is one of the most memorable moments of the Attitude Era. Hands down.
1,000%. 1,000%. That's why it's my number
Isn't
two.
it funny? Isn't it funny that if you would really talk about some of the most memorable moments of that whole era of wrestling, Mae Young's name comes up way too many times.
Man, I think if you go back though, like now that I'm 41 years old and I'm going back and watching the things that Mae Young did, I am so much more impressed with it than I was when I was 16.
Right.
Like it's just
Yeah.
so much more impressive.
Because she does things at 85 that we wouldn't do at 40.
I wouldn't do some of these things at 20. So
she was an impressive woman.
Hell yeah.
She really, really was. Right until the end, she was an impressive woman.
Well, for me,
and I don't think you'll find somebody who loved the business more than she.
No, she was the best, and I met her. It was great. She's a great woman.
Did you really?
I did. I got my picture taken with her and Moolah.
No kidding.
So for me though, there can only no, but Mae Young was looking at Wilson's ass. That's a shoot.
Oh.
For number one though, there can only be one moment, I think, and I think it's safe to say that you talk about any of these three tag teams, this is probably the number one for all three of them, and it is I just put TLC, the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian, and what they did together. Take your pick. Take your pick. WrestleMania, SummerSlams. It's what these guys
so
did.
It's just we're not just talking about the one match. We're talking about
just the legacy, the legacy and the rivalry between the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian will stand the test of time. It will be looked back on like people look back on Flair and Steamboat from a prior generation, and and that's it. Like this is Austin, all that stuff. The Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys, and Edge and Christian. It is what they are almost known for, and it's the most replayed clips in the history of the company. The spears off the ladders, Matt and Bubba going through the tables at WrestleMania outside the ring, just everything that those guys did together. And I think it's so cool that we're getting this match one more time in for Devon's retirement match.
I love it. I like your list a lot. There's two things that I'm surprised we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
One of the things you already did talk about, it just wasn't on your list. I'm surprised that them opening Barely Legal wasn't list worthy.
It was strong consideration.
I think that's an important spot. That's an
it is, but
match.
you know why I didn't put it on my list? It's because when I interviewed Devon Dudley and I specifically asked him about that, he didn't really seem to care. It wasn't a big deal to him. It was just kind of like, we opened it.
But I think that's a wrestling thing. When you've had 2,000 matches plus, it all runs together. It stops to be as special. But as fans, we're not sitting here as professional wrestlers. We're sitting here as fans. So these lists are made by fans for fans. As a fan, I think them opening Barely Legal was an extremely important spot because that was That was a make. This is WrestleMania, where WrestleMania was make or break for WWF. If WrestleMania fails, WWF fails.
Yeah.
Barely legal was the same thing. If barely legal fails, ECW is fucked.
Being the first guys
So
out, being the first guys out is a huge sign of respect. But that pay-per-view wasn't on
100%.
their shoulders, so that was more of a Terry Funk and Sandman and
Okay,
but
agreed.
the
But
level of
when
respect to be
when you put
shown.
out your, I've always lived with this. I've had this conversation with my good friend Ray 1,000 times. I've always lived with the idea that the second most important match on the card is your goal.
The opener, yeah.
Your main event sells tickets, but that opener, if you don't have a good opener, you've already lost the show.
Mhm.
You're out the gates, or as Triple H would call it, out the video board. I don't know if you saw that was a funny spot they did last night. He said he said everybody that comes out of that video board, we don't have curtains anymore.
Yeah, I saw that.
But anybody who the very first people to come out of that curtain sets the tone for the show. The first match in the show is to me as important as your main event.
Yeah, I mean,
So you need to put somebody out that you trust. You need to put somebody out that is going to be able to really know what your company can do, especially when it's our first pay-per-view. You need to represent that company. And the Dudley Boyz did just that. So to me personally, that would be on my list.
well, that is going to put a bow on it. I'll just quickly say another honorable mention. I almost put the 3D on my list. That was a close one for me, but I didn't end up putting it on just because I wanted to talk about a little bit more moments than that, Hall of Fames and stuff like that. But I think for the most part, we covered it all. I'm going to go ahead and take us home here because, as you guys could hear, we're having a little bit of microphone issues there. Our apologies for that. We're not really a professional podcast, so you guys should know that by now. But we'll have it all fixed up next week, and we'll be back. Mike's gonna do something next week. I don't know what. We don't usually know what we're gonna do until like a day before. We're calling in the ring, brothers. It's what we do. I'm gonna do Mike here. Oh yeah, I don't know. Maybe just do you want to say count it out, Mike? You want to do your little just goodbye quickly? I know you're gonna break up like crazy, but just do your goodbye that you do.
We counted out my loves.
Oh, that was terrible. What he said for everybody else was, "We've been counted out," and I'm not going to say my loves. But yes, on behalf of Mike and his broken microphone right now, and the Dudley Boyz and NXT, because that was a fun conversation, you guys have all been counted out. Cheers.